Hello everyone, Melanie here. This is part 2 of my Just Junk Journal challenge, journal creation. Links to part 1 and the details about the challenge are in the description below. In this video, I'm adding the pages to my cover. The paper that I'm using was bound for the recycle bin. It's school papers from my daughter's 8th grade year. I mentioned before that I am a serious hoarder because I think I have every piece of paper she's ever brought home since kindergarten, and she's a freshman in college now. So the journal that I'm creating is going to be a glue book. And what I've done is created larger pages by marking off a 1-inch margin on one sheet of one of these 8.5 by 11 pages, and then gluing another sheet overlapped in that 1-inch margin on top of it. Here I'm just folding the sheets together into folios, and I actually created 36 pages that I folded into folios, so I made 3 signatures of 12 pages each. So that gives me a total of 72 pages in my journal. I mentioned that the book I'm making or the journal that I'm making for the challenge is a glue book. And my definition of a glue book is just a book or a journal that you glue stuff into. Most of mine are filled with things that I cut out of magazines. I had for a long time I was a designer. I designed textiles and quilts. And I did a lot of pulling inspiration photos and things like that from magazines. So I have a lot of books that I've put together over the years of things that inspired me. The next step in the process is just creating a template that I will use for punching the holes in my signatures and in my spine. I decided to do a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. I always make sure I mark the top of my binding guide. This is an old dictionary that I have that I've been using as a cradle, a punching cradle. So the spine of these folios, remember, is 2 pages thick. So I'm also punching through all that glue that's in there holding everything together. So I really had to kind of work at it with these signatures to punch holes in them. So here I am marking off the holes for the spine, and I don't think you can see it quite in the video, but they did get off a little bit. But that's okay. It's a junk journal, and it's, made out of stuff that was bound for the trash anyway. So here I'm deciding about what I'm going to bind with, and I ultimately decided to go with this really heavy cotton twine. I think this is like gardening twine or something. And I'm using a really large tapestry needle because the thread is so thick that I wanted a really heavy needle to make the hole big enough to go ahead and pull that through. So after waxing my thread, this is just me putting together the first signature using a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. And I decided to put the knots on the outside of the book. Here it is once I have all 3 of the signatures sewn in. And I'm finishing off the last knot. So all my pages are in at this point. I'm going to trim these threads off. The next thing I do is go through with my bone folder and try to kind of flatten out some of these seams, flipping through my book and just checking it out, seeing how everything kind of lays together, and then making sure it's all put together. And this is always a fun part when you get it finished. I really like the way this turns out because you could kind of carry it around and someone would think it's still a shopping bag. It's kind of fun. This is a really, really simple journal considering what all the things that were available for us to use in this challenge. But I think it's a good example of something that you can make with things you have lying around the house. In this case, things that would have been in the recycle bin or in the trash. So thanks for watching, guys. I think I'll do one more video where I show kind of what I end up doing with the book, how I use it as a glue book. So I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you got some ideas. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.